Spoilers for the Suicide Squad. Oh man, what a ride. This movie was definitely worth the wait. The Suicide Squad. This is the movie I've been waiting for all year. As a huge James Gunn fan myself. Love Guardians of the Galaxy. I think James Gunn as a person is fantastic. Fantastic personality. His love for the fans is unending. I finally went to a movie theater after over a year. Over like a year and a half, really. And this was the perfect movie to see. If it were any other movie that I had gone to see in theaters after this long pandemic, this long year and a half, having not been to a theater, it wouldn't have felt right. This was definitely the right movie. This is the movie I've been waiting for this whole time, and it was 100% worth it. It was a lot of fun. Saw it with my friends. We all had a one hell of a blast. That was a good welcome back to the movies theater outing that we had. Leading up to this movie, I had in mind that this isn't just I'm not seeing this as just a Suicide Squad movie or a DC movie. This is going to be, or a superhero movie. This is, without a doubt, going to be James Gunn, the movie. And, oh yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was pure James Gunn, beginning to end. So let's get to it. Suicide Squad, now, as a whole, the movie is very good at grabbing your attention. The fast pacing, just beginning to end, it's non-stop. Which is, it works. You think, I mean, from the sound of it, it sounds like, oh, pacing is so fast, non-stop, it might disorient you. Not really. This is the perfect energy for this type of story. Type of, this right story, the right characters, the right vibe, the right director for this quick pacing. It just takes your attention and runs with it. Just takes it away for the next 2 hours. There's never a single boring moment in this movie, and that is excellent. Definitely had me on the edge of my seat for 2 hours. The action itself was, wow, was it over the top? I was expecting it to be bloody, pretty bloody, but it's like bloody, like almost every 10 seconds. It's crazy. Let's talk about the characters. The characters in this movie are unique. They're all very likable in different ways. Well, some of them are likable. Others, maybe not so much, because they were intended to be that way, obviously. And then others are just there to die. Take the beginning, for example. What I not expected beginning that was. Not even 10 minutes. Not even, the credits didn't even begin. The opening credits didn't even show up yet. And half the cast is already axed. I was not expecting that. But yeah, all the Boomerang, Javelin, TDK. I was hoping we'd see these guys a little bit longer than we did. But it's fine. They're there to die. They're throwaway characters not to be taken seriously. So characters like TDK, I mean, that's a new character specifically for this movie that James Gunn created. That would have been cool to see. Maybe, more of him in action. Maybe his legs come off as well as his arms. I don't know. It's fine. It doesn't. It sets the tone for the movie, the first 10 minutes. And we get even better characters as our leads for the rest of the movie. Some little Easter eggs, some character Easter eggs. Sean Gunn's Calendar Man was pretty cool. One thing I did pick up on, one cameo I picked up on a little bit, but then I kind of forgot about. But then I was like, wait, I gotta look this up to make sure I'm not making this up. And it turns out Pom Klementieff, Mantis from Guardians of the Galaxy, is in the scene where they go to the bar. She's one of the dancers. It's pretty cool. I thought that was her. So it was pretty good. Also, Kaleidoscope is I remember seeing this character briefly. She's a character from the comics. She's in the scene where the team is getting introduced back in the prison. And so that was a pretty cool cameo. Kaleidoscope looks like a pretty cool character. I'd like to see her in a movie. Now, some standout characters. Definitely Ratcatcher 2. She was a sweetheart, played by Daniela Melchior. She was the perfect fit for the role. Sebastian the Rat was great. The little waves he gave. Hilarious. I was not expecting Sebastian to be such a standout. Polka Dot Man. Wow. That is, of all the characters in this entire movie, Polka Dot Man was definitely the most demented, I think. Or he had the most demented backstory. Really dark backstory. But what they did with his character, seeing his mom everywhere he goes, basically giving us his POV of how damaged he is and how he just can't escape his horrible, horrible past. Such a silly superhero, or at least in the comics he seems silly, but and James Gunn took him and not only made him one of the characters that's the most front and center in this ensemble, but he made him to a very serious, dark character, or at least with a backstory. And the thing with his polka dot condition, it's really sad, man. Really sad. He's one of the characters I wish didn't die. There are three main characters I wish didn't get killed off in this movie. Obviously, we came into this movie not trying to not be too attached, but there are three characters I wish could have made it to the end. Definitely Polka Dot Man. Boomerang, Captain Boomerang. I wish we saw a little bit more of him. But hey, it is what it is, you know? Doesn't mess up the movie anyway. It's just to bum us out, you know? But the one I really wish didn't die. You probably wish this character didn't die either, on the top of your not wanting to die list in this movie. Rick Flag. That was a really sad death scene. I think he has the saddest one. The second saddest, I'd say, would have to go to Polka Dot Man. Rick Flag's a cool character. He's the only good guy of the group of villains. He's the leader, or one of the leaders of this group. He's just a cool dude. And his last act was to reveal the truth to the world about Project Starfish. He's just trying to do the right thing. I know Peacemaker thought he's doing the right thing, which, by the way, let's get to Peacemaker. Here's a character who is dead set with his goals and his values. Peace no matter what, even if it means killing not just anybody, but also his own teammates. It's pretty messed up. Tried to kill Ratcatcher 2. I actually kind of had a feeling Ratcatcher 2 would die in this movie. Thank God she didn't. Thank God she didn't. But it turns out, discovered recently, in recent news, James Gunn did in fact consider killing her off, but because she's just an adorable character, he changed his mind. Thank you, James. Yeah, that would have sucked to see her get killed off. But I also thought Peacemaker got killed off himself by Bloodsport. Nope, fake out. As one of the two fake out deaths in the movie. Pretty good fake out deaths, I should say. Peacemaker and Weasel. I was really looking forward to Weasel in this movie. Played by Sean Gunn, his second anthropomorphic CGI rodent character that he's playing in a movie. He didn't even. I mean, it's great that he's in one of the mid or post, credit scenes. He is revealed to be alive still, which is good. I mean, a character like that, and we hardly had 5 minutes of screen time. We think he gets killed off, and then to see him come back to life was great. I cheered at that part, honestly. I was happy to see Weasel come back. Which, I mean, if only Savant gave him CPR or something. Which is, I honestly thought maybe that's what would have happened, but nope, they all just assumed he died. He drowned to death. That fall from the helicopter is great. What an impression a character like that made, just for comedy, just for comic relief, within like under 10 seconds of the 10 seconds, within the first 10 minutes of the movie. And that's the kind of impression he leaves on us. That was not the only moment I cheered in this movie. There were a lot of moments, that make you want to cheer. There really are, like the weasel, the end, when he's revealed to still be alive, and then runs off on more weasel adventures. That was a definite cheer moment, at least for me. When Bloodsport shoots Peacemaker, that was worth a cheer. A lot of laugh out loud and cheering moments in this movie, because that's how much of a fun time this was. King Shark, by the way, he's adorable. I ended up really liking King Shark. He's a very sensitive soul. He's like a child. He's the most lovable one. And I mean, he's just so pure. He's a killer, but he just seems so innocent and pure. His famous nom nom line, it always manages to get a laugh out of me. He had a lot of great moments. Let's talk about the two darkest characters in the movie. Amanda Waller and Starro. Let's get to Amanda first. She's a lot more sinister in this one. I mean, Viola Davis played the character excellently in the other Suicide Squad movie. She was one of the few good moments of that film. This film, wow. I mean, threatening Bloodsport's daughter, willing to cover up the fact that America was involved in Project Starfish. She really has a tendency to not be 100% truthful in sending these characters on their mission. She's definitely the baddest of all these bad guys. She thinks she's doing it for the greater good, obviously, but she's not entirely morally right. She may not see it. Maybe she is aware of it, but doesn't really. I don't know. She's really dark in this film. That's another cheer moment when she gets whacked out by one of her workers. Which, by the way, those were great side characters. Steve Agee. That's how you say it, I'm pretty sure. I'm sorry if I didn't say it right. As John Economos, Jennifer Holland as Amelia Harcourt. They were great. Great minor characters. And I'm looking forward to what they might do with John Cena in Peacemaker, the TV show coming out in January. Which is, I mean, of all the characters in this movie, Peacemaker seems like the best choice. He is he did turn against the team in this movie, sure. So maybe the audience likes him a little less. He's still a cool character though. But this is probably one of the best characters to get his own spin-off series from from this movie. Because we got to know Ratcatcher 2, we got to know her backstory. Polka Dot Man, we got to know a little bit about. Bloodsport, we got to a little bit about. I kind of do want to know a little bit more about Peacemaker, though. We get his values, but I kind of do want to know a little bit more about him. I feel like there's definitely more to dig up within his backstory or his character, who he is. So I'm looking forward to that. I don't have HBO Max, but I'll definitely try to take a look at Peacemaker coming in a few months. Anyway, alright, so now I'm going to get to Starro, the Conqueror. I gotta say, while Amanda Waller was pretty scary, Starro was surprisingly creepy. Just from the first moment we see him in that old footage when the astronauts first find him, that creeps the hell out of me. And the experiments they did on Starro, Starro attacking the Corto Maltese civilians, it was all dark stuff for an otherwise silly character. Probably the silliest of the characters in this movie, or one of them, And yet, James Gunn, yet again, found a way to make it, to make us feel an emotion. And in this case, it was fear. Starro really did freak me out. Yeah, and at the end, just when the squad has finally taken him out, his last words, I was happy in space, looking at the stars. I was pretty sad. Sad backstory, but also a pretty creepy character. He's a victim, just like the other characters in this movie, so... yeah, that was pretty sad. But James Gunn, like all the characters in this movie, he managed to take this character seems silly and make him pretty cool. This whole movie, not just the movie itself, but the making of the movie, how it happened. There's a lot of redemption theme. Redemption, redeeming the Suicide Squad as, a film franchise. Because this is a standalone sequel, which, I'm taking it as this is a sequel in the sense it's the same actors playing the same characters, and it's implied that they've been on missions together, but it's a reboot in a way that the other movie didn't happen. This is like its own universe in which the other movie didn't happen. That's how I see this movie. I'm pretty sure that's 100% what it is, but I'm just saying that's how I interpreted it when I first was taking a look at the trailers and heard about it being a soft reboot. There's redemption in the sense that it's redeeming its movie status. Redemption for James Gunn, because he briefly lost his job at Disney. And then he got hired to do this film, which was an excellent choice. Because Warner Brothers, right after that whole situation where Gunn got fired, immediately Warner Brothers was like, we'll take him. That was perfect. All these silly characters in the movie, they're ridiculous in the comics. Maybe nobody took them seriously in the comics. They're not very popular or weren't very popular. This movie takes these movies and just, you love them. Just like that. They're one viewing of the movie, and they're Guardians of the Galaxy-ified. It's so stupid, but you know what I mean. They took lesser known characters and blew them up into popularity. And you feel for these characters. It's not just the movie. It's redemption is prevalent with how it got made. I'm so looking forward to what James Gunn does in the future. He's got his upcoming Guardians of the Galaxy projects, which he's going to start in November. He's filming Volume 3 and the holiday special in November. He confirmed that. So that's going to be fun to follow up on a little bit. You know what? I'm going to get to my one complaint that I have about the Suicide Squad. Well, I love this. I love James Gunn. I love Guardians of the Galaxy. My one complaint for this movie is I really feel like they could have kept some things that they've shown in the trailers a secret. Case in point, Starro. Starro's a pretty big deal in this movie. I feel like if we didn't see him in the trailers at all, or see him so much, if we didn't see him so much in the marketing for this movie, that probably would have been a pretty big deal reveal. Big deal reveal. And there's a lot of other things maybe they could have, a lot of other plot details maybe they could have kept under wraps until the movie came out. Not to say that the movie didn't have surprises. Of course it did. With the scene where they're trying to, where Bloodsport and Peacemaker are trying to out-cool each other, only to find out that the bad guys they're killing were the good guys. Oh, to which that from me and my friends and probably the rest of the theater, we let out a collective "ah" when that happens. It's pretty funny though. Of course, this movie is definitely full of great surprises. Made us all cheer, or cry, or applaud. Is great. Weasel living by the end was definitely a pretty big surprise. So this movie really had our emotions going. Mostly laughter. It was a fun time. It was a really fun time. The tone of this movie really stands out the most. The story's great. But I think the tone itself within the story is more of a standout than the story itself. The tone is just in your face, bonkers, and out of control in a good way. It's definitely worth a rewatch. This movie really does stick with you. I've been thinking about this movie ever since I saw it a few days ago. It really sticks with you. And who knows, maybe there'll be a sequel. I don't really know. Who knows? I mean, James Gunn doesn't really know what he'll do after he's done with his Guardians of the Galaxy projects coming up. Maybe he'll come back to DC and do a sequel. Another to a sequel to the separate Suicide Squad franchise, the standalone Suicide Squad franchise. And that's my review. Really enjoyed this movie. It was worth going back to the movies after over a year and a half. I hope you've seen it. If you didn't, definitely see it. It's worth it. You'll love it. You'll absolutely love it. And I'll see you next time at the next React.